Last week we talked a little bit about the parks and gardens that not a lot of people know about in the city. Today we were at Pocket Park, which is between the Owl and the Center building, and Doug's going to talk to us a little bit about this park.
Yep. This park is basically maintained by the DDA, Downtown Development Association, and it's been here for a while. We were hired to do the maintenance on it. Leslie Dort has contacted some of the local restaurants, and so you can call from your cell phone, get a meal delivered here from like the Owl, from the Center building, the Fresh Palette, Take 5 Deli, winery, different types of stuff. So it's just a great way to use a park.
And it's a very cute park.
Yeah, it's called a pocket park. It's not very big, but it's just really bigger than you would think. It's kind of like, this is about the size of a backyard. So you could really do something very similar to this in your backyard. Have an area for benches, you could have a water feature in here, you could have a path leading to something, have a place to eat. So
you could almost shrink it and make it your own.
Absolutely, yeah.
And now you were talking to me about these plants here that are kind of yellowing, and you were saying that even though the frost hasn't killed them yet, it's about that time to cut back plants.
Right. And this particular plant, every plant has a number of growing days. How long it grows and how long it blooms and how long it lasts. And it blooms at different times of year based on how early it starts in the spring. So in these particular plants, you'll see that this is a Stella Dior lily. It's one of the lilies that blooms all year, or all summer, I should say. And it's starting to yellow back because it's time to start getting cut back. So I would say in another week or two would be a good time if this was in your home that you would start cutting this back and just getting rid of the debris so that you don't have the rodents and stuff growing in it, of course. Here it's a little bit more protected between the buildings, so it isn't quite yellowed out as much as it might be if it was at your home.
And now when you say cut back, how far are you cutting back? What does that mean?
In this particular plant, I'd cut it back so it's probably an inch off the ground.
Okay.
And a real good way to do it is if you've got trimmers, you can trim. If you've got hedge trimmers, you just come down at the bottom. I've seen people have actually taken electric knives, indoor electric knives that kind of wore out a little bit, and even used in that.
Giving it a haircut?
Just something that's a clean cut. You don't want it to be broken up, so you want it to be sharp enough that gives you a clean cut.
And how do you know what plants you should cut back?
I would basically look at, if you know your garden a little bit and you know what are perennials, I would look at what is naturally dying back and let nature tell you what to trim, and that's the time to do it. So when it starts to yellow out or the bloom's dead or stuff like that, it's telling you to trim it back, and you do, and kind of go from there.
So it'll talk to you is what you're saying.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, and then once your plants are kind of dying, seasons are changing, you'll have bald spots, you'll have spots in your lawn or garden that don't look as pretty. How would you fill those?
Well, and that starts maybe even as early as spring when you have daffodils and tulip bulbs. They've done blooming, and then you cut them back, you have nothing there. So that's a great place to move a bird bath or something out of your garage and set that in that particular area. It fills the voids, the bird can start bathing and bring some life into your thing. Another thing down here, we have a metal art piece, which is actually sold in my store as well. And that's something that can be out year-round because of it being metal. It doesn't hurt it. So even when snow's around and any kinds of around it, you still have something interesting there. Wind chimes can go there. All types of things can fill your void.
And you had said fall decorations.
Yep, and if you have something like a lot of perennials and stuff around your front door, your entrance, now may be the time to start buying corn stalks. A lot of the garden centers and stuff have them. Some of like Kit Miller's, those type of people have them. So you get a couple corn stalks, some bales of straw, some fresh pumpkins. Some of your local growers are growing that. So we have steel pumpkins, so if you want to invest once and not have to continue to reinvest. But it's a great time to start really sprucing up, and trick-or-treaters are only a month away.
All right, well, thank you, Doug. And next week, Doug is going to do a whole segment on fall decorating and how to spruce up your lawn, garden, maybe even your front porch with fall decorations.